Okay, good morning, Year 6. It's another Monday morning, Monday the 15th of June. And I just wanted to start off by saying a big thank you to anybody who has sent in their Jabberwocky poems from last week. We really enjoyed sharing them with the class and trying to work out what the portmanteau words meant that you'd made up. And it was just really, really great for you to share those with us. So thank you very much. This week, hopefully, is going to be equally as enjoyable. We're going to be looking at some different types of text. We're going to be thinking about what the authors have done to make them feel mysterious and to make us feel a little bit uneasy, and working towards planning and writing our own mystery story opening on Thursday and Friday. And as before, we're really looking forward to you sharing your work with us and emailing it to us so that we can share it with your friends who are here at school. Hope you're all well, and we look forward to hearing from you. Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, so as I said, it's Monday the 15th of June, and today we're going to analyse and discuss how atmosphere is developed in a text extract. Okay, so we're going to start by looking at what the underlined words mean. Broad, bright high road, solitary woman, white garments, and her face bent in grave inquiry. Pause the slides and see if you can work out what the underlined words mean. Okay, so we're going to go through some answers. Broad, bright high road. In this context, broad means wide. Solitary means single or alone. The word garments is just a synonym for clothes. Grave inquiry means asking something seriously. Look out for these words and phrases in the piece of text we're going to look at today. It can be found on the next slide, and there is a copy on the website if you'd like to print it up. Focus listening. What do you understand about this piece of text? When, in one moment, every drop of blood in my body was brought to a stop by the touch of a hand laid lightly and suddenly on my shoulder from behind me. I turned on the instant, with my fingers tightening round the handle of my stick. There, in the middle of the broad, bright high road, there, as if it had that moment sprung out of the earth or dropped from the heaven, stood the figure of a solitary woman, dressed from head to foot in white garments, her face bent in grave inquiry on mine, her hand pointing to the dark cloud over London as I faced her. Pause the slides to think about it and jot down some ideas. So I asked you to think about what you did understand, what is happening. The parts which I understand are that the person telling the story is walking along a wide path or road when they feel a hand on their shoulder which makes them freeze in fear. I don't know who this person is. A woman has appeared on her own from nowhere, is dressed all in white and is pointing at the clouds over London. She has a serious expression on her face. Was there anything extra which you found out by reading the text carefully? Next, have a think about what time of day and night might it be, and why you think that. If you were there, how would you feel, and why? How wouldn't you feel? And explain why. Happy, terrified, sad, worried, confused, cross, uneasy, frightened, nervous, suspicious, miserable, and joyful. There might be other words which you would use to describe how you were feeling. Today we're going to look at this extract of text in more detail and think about how the author has built up an element or an atmosphere of mystery and unease. You can print out the text on the website and annotate it, or just jot your ideas down on some paper or in a book. So the question we're investigating is, how has the author built up an element or atmosphere of mystery and unease? You can see in this text I've underlined some sections. Look at the underlined parts to start you off if you need to. How do they add to the feeling of mystery and unease? You will probably have lots of extra ideas yourself. Pause the slides to look at it in more detail before we look at some of them together. I have started to annotate this with my ideas about why the atmosphere is mysterious and uneasy. So the first part, when the man is stopped by a hand on his shoulder, is mysterious because the person is shocked about the hand on his shoulder. He thought he was there alone. When the woman in white lays her hand lightly on his shoulder, the light touch doesn't hurt, but does make us feel a bit of a shiver up our spine. It's almost a ghostly touch. The woman appears suddenly. Where has she come from? She has appeared from out of nowhere, or so it seems, and this makes the reader feel uneasy. What is she doing there? Writing in first person makes us feel like we are there and that we are feeling some of the fear of the character telling the story. How many different parts of the text were you able to underline and annotate? We're now going to reread the section with an additional paragraph at the start. What does this add to the air of mystery and unease? Anything? Nothing? Have a little listen and see what you think. I had now arrived at that particular point of my walk where four roads met. The road to Hampstead, along which I had returned, the road to Finchley, the road to West End, and the road back to London. I had mechanically turned in this latter direction and was strolling along the lonely high road, idly wondering, I remember, what the Cumberland young ladies would look like, when, in one moment, every drop of blood in my body was brought to a stop by the touch of a hand laid lightly and suddenly on my shoulder from behind me. I turned on the instant with my fingers tightening around the handle of my stick. There, in the middle of the broad, bright high road, there, as if it had that moment sprung out of the earth or dropped from the heavens, stood the figure of a solitary woman, dressed from head to foot in white garments, her face bent in grave inquiry on mine, her hand pointing to the dark cloud over London as I faced her. Keep hold of your ideas from today, as we will be adding to them through the week and using the ideas when we plan and write a mysterious opening on Thursday and Friday.